Have you ever felt a deep sense of comfort when everyone around you agrees? There's a warmth in shared belief, a feeling of safety in the crowd. We are told from a young age that the majority is usually right. It's a simple rule for a complicated world. Just go with the flow, and you will be secure. This is the path of least resistance, the easy road that promises acceptance and belonging. It feels like common sense, a shield against being wrong or being alone. Think about your daily life. The news you consume, the trends you follow, the ideas you discuss with friends. How many of those opinions are truly your own? And how many are simply echoes of the larger group? We adopt these views almost without thinking. It's efficient. It makes social interactions smoother. Agreeing with the popular opinion is like wearing the right clothes for a party. It helps you fit in, to be seen as one of the group, and to avoid any awkward, challenging moments. Society rewards this kind of thinking. You get more likes, more promotions, more invitations. By becoming a reliable reflection of the popular view, you become predictable and safe to others. You are a team player, a good citizen, someone who doesn't rock the boat. This path seems paved with gold because, in many ways, it is. The rewards are tangible and immediate. You receive constant validation that you are on the right track, that your beliefs are correct, because they are shared by so many. But deep within this comfort, there is a hidden danger, a quiet cost that we rarely stop to consider. An ancient philosopher from Athens, a man named Socrates, saw this danger more clearly than anyone. He warned that a life built on borrowed opinions is not a life of safety, but a fragile house built on sand. He saw that the greatest risk wasn't being wrong, but never even asking if you might be. His words challenge the very foundation of our social comfort. Imagine the popular opinion as a massive, powerful river. It's easy to float along with the current. The water is warm, and the journey is effortless. Everyone else is floating with you, enjoying the ride. Why would anyone choose to swim against it? The river promises to carry you to a safe harbor, a destination approved by all. Fighting the current seems pointless, exhausting, and a direct path to isolation. So we relax, and we let the river decide our direction for us. The problem is, no one ever stops to ask where the river is actually going. We trust that someone, somewhere, has checked the map. We assume the destination is a good one, simply because so many people are headed there. This blind trust is the cornerstone of popular opinion. It's a collective gamble that we are all headed in the right direction. It feels safe because we are all in it together, sharing the same risk and therefore sharing the same illusion of security. We defend these shared beliefs with incredible passion. An attack on a popular opinion feels like a personal attack. It's an attack on our tribe, our identity, and our sense of safety. So we build walls around these ideas not with bricks and stone, but with social pressure and ridicule. We label those who ask questions as troublemakers or fools. It's a defense mechanism designed to protect the comfort of the group and to avoid the scary work of thinking for ourselves. This is the comfortable world we are taught to accept, a world where agreement is strength and questioning is weakness, a world where the crowd's voice is the voice of truth. We are told this is the only way to live a happy, stable life, to be a part of something bigger than ourselves. But what if this entire picture is a lie? What if the safety we feel is an illusion, and the real danger is in our refusal to see it? Socrates proposed a simple yet terrifying idea. He suggested that we must be willing to question everything, especially the beliefs we hold most dear and the opinions shared by everyone around us. He wasn't trying to be difficult. He believed it was the only way to live a life that was truly our own. It starts with a small, nagging feeling, a tiny flicker of doubt in the back of your mind, a quiet moment of dissatisfaction that you can't quite explain. This is the beginning of the unraveling, the first pull on a thread that can undo the entire tapestry of a life built on conformity. It is the moment you stop and ask a simple, honest question. Is this really true? This is where our journey truly begins. Away from the noise of the crowd and into the quiet, challenging space of your own mind. The space where popular opinion holds no power and only truth matters. The first sign of trouble appears as a crack in the perfect surface. You're in a conversation, nodding along as usual, But suddenly, the words sound hollow. The popular opinion being shared, the one you've always accepted, no longer makes perfect sense. A small, logical gap appears, a contradiction you've never noticed before. It's a tiny inconsistency, easy to ignore, but once seen, it cannot be unseen. It plants a seed of doubt. Socrates would call this the beginning of wisdom. It's the recognition of one's own ignorance. You realize you've been accepting an idea without ever truly examining its foundations. This realization is uncomfortable. It feels like waking up to find you're wearing a mask. A smiling, agreeable mask that you've worn for so long, you almost forgot it wasn't your real face. The weight of it suddenly feels heavy on your skin. You start to notice it everywhere. People are not having conversations. They are reciting scripts. They exchange popular phrases and accepted conclusions like currency, without any real thought behind them. The vibrant marketplace of ideas you once imagined now seems more like a factory assembly line, producing identical thoughts. The comfort of the crowd begins to feel less like a warm embrace and more like a crowded cage. This feeling grows. The life of conformity, which once seemed so full of rewards, now reveals its emptiness. The promotions, the social approval, the constant stream of validation. They feel like snacks that never satisfy a deep hunger. There's a persistent feeling that something essential is missing. You are playing a role in a grand play, but you have forgotten who you are when the curtain falls. The applause of the crowd sounds distant and meaningless. You begin to ask quiet questions, not out loud at first, just to yourself. Why do I believe this? Is it because it's true, or just because everyone else believes it? What would I think if I were completely alone, with no one to please? These questions are like small stones dropped into a still pond. The ripples they create begin to disturb the calm surface of your accepted reality. Each question is a small act of rebellion against your own unthinking mind. The world, which once seemed so clear and simple, now becomes complex and uncertain. You see the contradictions in the beliefs the crowd holds. They demand kindness, but celebrate cruelty. They praise individuality, but enforce conformity. They speak of freedom, but live in fear of standing out. This hypocrisy, once invisible, is now glaringly obvious. The solid ground of popular opinion begins to feel like a thin layer of ice over deep, dark water. This is the Socratic method turned inward, a relentless process of questioning that peels back the layers of assumption and tradition. It is not a destructive process, but a clarifying one. It is like cleaning a dirty window. At first, the streaks and smudges make the view worse. But as you continue to clean, the light begins to shine through more clearly. You are not destroying the window. You are simply allowing it to serve its true purpose. The cost of this internal questioning becomes apparent. You find yourself becoming quieter in group settings. You can't bring yourself to repeat the easy, popular phrases anymore. Your silence is noticed. People mistake your thoughtfulness for disagreement, your quiet for judgment. The easy rapport you once had with others begins to fray. A subtle distance begins to grow between you and the crowd you were once a part of. You start to feel like an actor who has forgotten their lines. You are on stage, the spotlight is on you, and everyone is waiting for you to say the expected thing. But the words won't come. You see the absurdity of the script. This moment is terrifying. It is the point where you must choose. Either force yourself to say the lines you no longer believe, or stand in silence and accept the consequences of your newfound honesty. This period of doubt is a lonely journey. It feels like you are adrift in a small boat, having left the comfort of the large, crowded ship. The ship sails on, its lights and music fading into the distance. You are alone with your questions under a vast, dark sky. It is in this profound solitude that the real work begins. You are no longer defined by the crowd, but by the questions you dare to ask in its absence. The world seems to conspire to pull you back. Friends and family may express concern. You're overthinking things, they say. Just relax and be happy like everyone else. They are not being malicious. They are trying to guide you back to the perceived safety of the river, back to the warmth of the collective agreement. They see your questioning as a sickness that needs to be cured, not as the beginning of a cure itself. You see the mechanics of groupthink with painful clarity now. You notice how dissent is subtly punished and agreement is lavishly rewarded. You see how emotional appeals are used to bypass logical thinking. You see how fear is used as a tool to keep the herd together. The popular opinion is not a fortress of truth, but a pasture fenced in by invisible electric wires of social pressure. Touching the fence brings a jolt of pain. The comfort of your old life now looks like a prison. A comfortable, well-decorated prison, but a prison nonetheless. The bars are made of unexamined beliefs and the fear of social judgment. You realize that true freedom isn't about having a wide range of choices that are pre-approved by the group. True freedom is the ability to form your own thoughts, to define your own values, even if it means standing completely and utterly alone. This is the anxiety of true growth. It is the shedding of an old skin. The process is awkward, painful, and leaves you feeling vulnerable and exposed. You are no longer the person you were, but you are not yet the person you are becoming. You exist in a space between two worlds: the comfortable, false world of the crowd, and the difficult, authentic world you are trying to build for yourself. This in-between space is where courage is born. You start to seek out different kinds of information, not the popular news feeds, but the challenging books, the difficult ideas, the voices of dissenters from history. You are no longer looking for information that confirms what you already believe. You are now actively seeking out information that challenges you, that forces you to think, that strengthens your own mind. You are building a new foundation for your beliefs, one based on reason and evidence. The anxiety you felt begins to slowly transform. It doesn't disappear, but it changes its character. It is no longer the fear of being wrong or being ostracized. It becomes the thrilling excitement of discovery. The world becomes a vast puzzle, and you hold the key to understanding small pieces of it. Every question you ask, every assumption you dismantle is a step forward on a great adventure, an adventure of the mind. You realize that the goal is not to find new, better opinions to cling to. The goal is to develop the skill of thinking, to build a mind that is flexible, critical, and humble. Socrates famously said that his only wisdom was in knowing that he knew nothing. This isn't a statement of failure. It is a statement of ultimate freedom. It is the freedom from the need to be right and the opening of the door to lifelong learning. The smiles of the crowd now look different. They no longer look happy, they look fragile. You see the fear behind their forced agreement, the fear of being left out, the fear of thinking for themselves, the fear of being wrong. You don't feel superior to them. Instead, you feel a sense of compassion. You were once one of them, trapped in the same gilded cage. Your desire now is not to mock them, but to understand. The final thread of the old life comes loose. You fully accept that the path to truth is often a lonely one. You no longer seek validation from the outside world. Your sense of self-worth is no longer tied to how many people agree with you. It is now tied to the honesty of your own search, the integrity of your own mind. The fear of being alone has been replaced by the quiet strength of your own convictions. This is the precipice of a great revelation. You have dismantled the comfortable lie. You have faced the anxiety of doubt. You have endured the loneliness of the path. You are now standing at the threshold of a powerful, life-altering truth. A truth that Socrates was willing to die for. A truth that has the power to transform you from a passive follower into the active creator of your own life. And here is the dangerous, beautiful truth that Socrates gifted to the world. The unexamined life is not worth living. This is the core revelation. It is not an opinion. It is a challenge. It is the simple, profound statement that a life lived on autopilot, a life of borrowed beliefs and unthinking conformity, is a wasted human experience. It is a life less lived, a shadow of what is truly possible for a thinking, feeling human being. Think of your mind as a garden. For years, you have allowed others to plant whatever seeds they wished. The seeds of popular opinion, of advertising, of tradition. Your garden is full, but it is not yours. It is a chaotic mix of weeds and flowers you did not choose. To examine your life is to become the gardener. It means pulling the weeds one by one and deciding for yourself what is worth planting. This is why popular opinions are so dangerous. They are not dangerous because they are always wrong. They are dangerous because they encourage us not to think. They offer us a pre-packaged conclusion. a mental shortcut that allows us to bypass the difficult but essential work of examination. They rob us of the opportunity to develop our own intellectual and moral muscles. They keep us weak while making us feel strong. The true purpose of life, in the Socratic view, is not to be happy or comfortable. It is to be virtuous. And virtue, for Socrates, was a form of knowledge. To know the good is to do the good. You cannot be a good person by accident or by simply following the rules of the crowd. You can only become good by deeply understanding what goodness is, through relentless questioning and self-examination. This means that true safety is not found in the agreement of the masses. True safety is found in having a mind that is so well practiced, so clear, and so honest, that it can navigate the complexities of life on its own terms. The crowd can be swayed by a charismatic leader or a wave of emotion, but a well-examined mind is an anchor in the storm. It is a source of inner stability that no external force can take away. Embracing this truth means you stop seeking answers from the outside world and start asking better questions of yourself. Instead of asking, "What does everyone think?" you start asking, "What is the logical argument here?" Instead of, "What is the popular thing to do?" you ask, "What is the right thing to do?" This shift from seeking external answers to asking internal questions is the single most powerful change you can make. Consider the allegory of the cave from Socrates' student, Plato. Most people live their lives watching shadows on a wall, mistaking them for reality. The philosopher is the one who breaks free, leaves the cave, and sees the real world in the blinding light of the sun. It is a painful process, but once you have seen the truth, you can never be content with the shadows again. The popular opinions of the cave dwellers seem like the ramblings of prisoners. This is the aha moment. The moment you realize that all the social pressure, all the popular trends, all the heated debates on things that don't matter, are just shadows on the wall. They are distractions from the real work of life, to know yourself, to build your character, to live with integrity. The game that everyone else is playing so seriously suddenly seems trivial. You are now playing a different game entirely. This truth is dangerous to the status quo. A society of people who think for themselves is much harder to control, to manipulate, and to lead into foolishness. This is why Socrates was seen as a threat to Athens. He wasn't corrupting the youth, he was teaching them to question. And a questioning mind is the enemy of all forms of unearned authority, whether it's political, religious, or social. To live an examined life is to declare your own sovereignty. It is to say, "My mind is my own. I will not rent it out to the crowd. I will not outsource my moral judgment. I will take full responsibility for my own beliefs and my own actions." This is the ultimate form of adulthood. It is the move from being a child who needs the group's approval to being an adult who can stand on their own 2 feet, intellectually and morally. The irony is that this path of questioning doesn't lead to arrogance, it leads to humility. The more you examine, the more you realize how complex the world is and how little you truly know. This Socratic wisdom, knowing that you know nothing, is the foundation for genuine curiosity and empathy. You stop judging others for their beliefs because you understand the difficult process of forming any belief at all. You are breaking the chains of intellectual slavery. These are not chains of iron and steel, but invisible chains of social expectation and mental laziness. Each time you choose to think for yourself instead of adopting a popular opinion, you weaken those chains. The first few attempts are incredibly difficult, like bending a thick iron bar. But with practice, your mind becomes stronger, and the chains become weaker until one day they shatter completely. Popular opinion will always be there. It is a constant siren song, calling you back to the effortless comfort of not thinking. It will whisper that you are being difficult, that you are making life harder than it needs to be. It will tempt you with the promise of easy acceptance. The revelation is understanding that this siren song is not a call to safety, but a call to mediocrity. A call to give up your greatest human gift, your reason. Your focus shifts from the external to the internal. Your goal is no longer to accumulate wealth, status, or followers. Your goal is to build an unshakable inner citadel, a fortress of reason, virtue, and self-knowledge that can withstand any external storm. What other people think of you becomes irrelevant. What you think of yourself in your own quiet moments of honest reflection becomes everything. You finally understand the true danger of popular opinions. The danger is not that they lead you to a wrong answer. The danger is that they stop you from asking the questions that lead to your own growth. They keep you in a state of permanent childhood, always looking to the group for guidance and approval. They prevent you from undertaking the sacred journey of becoming yourself. This realization changes everything. It is the beginning of your true freedom. Now that you have this truth, what do you do with it? How do you live this examined life in a world that fights against it at every turn? The first step is to accept that this path is not easy. It is a path of resistance. It requires daily courage. Socrates himself chose to die rather than renounce his right to question. He showed that the integrity of one's own mind can be more valuable than life itself. This new path is often a lonely one. Friends who are still invested in the comfort of the crowd may drift away. Conversations may become more difficult. You will be misunderstood. The warmth of easy agreement will be replaced by the cold, clear air of solitude. But this is not a desolate loneliness. It is the powerful solitude of the eagle soaring above the flock, seeing the world from a higher, clearer perspective. Contrast the two lives. The life of conformity is a wide, paved downhill road. It is crowded, noisy, and requires no effort, but it leads to a gray, uniform city where everyone is the same. The life of examination is a narrow, rocky, uphill path. It is often quiet and requires immense effort, but every step reveals a more breathtaking view, and it leads to a vibrant summit, unique to you. You must practice intellectual courage every day. It can be small things. When you hear a popular opinion, pause before agreeing. Ask a gentle, clarifying question. Read an article from a viewpoint you disagree with, not to argue, but to understand. These small acts are like training at the gym for your mind. They build the strength you need to stand firm when faced with bigger, more important questions. You will find a new kind of connection. While you may lose the shallow connection of the large crowd, you will find deeper, more meaningful connections with the few other individuals who are also on their own paths of examination. These relationships are not based on shared, easy opinions, but on a shared respect for the search for truth. This is a bond of fellow travelers, of mutual respect for the difficult journey. The struggle itself becomes meaningful. The difficulty of the climb is what makes the view from the summit worthwhile. You start to welcome challenges to your beliefs because you see them not as attacks, but as opportunities to test and strengthen your own thinking. You are no longer afraid of being wrong. You are afraid of not growing. This transforms your relationship with hardship from one of fear to one of gratitude. This path leads to a quiet, unshakable inner peace. It is not the peace of blissful ignorance, but the peace of earned confidence. You know your own mind. You trust your own judgment. The noisy chaos of the world's popular opinions can no longer disturb you, because you are anchored in your own well-examined reality. You can listen to the noise of the crowd without being swept away by it. You have found your center. Living an examined life is not about rejecting the world. It is about engaging with it more deeply and authentically. You can still love your friends, your family, and your community. But your love is no longer conditional on agreement. You engage with them not as a follower, but as a sovereign individual. You bring your whole thinking self to your relationships, which makes them richer and more honest than they ever were before. You learn to speak your truth with skill and compassion. The goal is not to win arguments or prove others wrong. The goal is to plant seeds of thought. A well-timed, honest question can be more powerful than 1,000 angry arguments. You learn to be a Socratic guide for others, not by giving them answers, but by helping them to ask their own questions and begin their own journey of examination. Your life gains a profound sense of purpose. You are no longer just drifting through life, consuming experiences and opinions. You are on a mission to understand, to grow, and to live with integrity. This purpose gives meaning to your struggles and joy to your discoveries. You are the hero of your own epic journey, the explorer of the vast continent of your own mind. Every day is a new step on that great adventure. So now, The journey comes back to you, right here, right now. You have seen the comfortable lie of the crowd and the difficult truth of the examined life. You understand the danger is not in being different, but in never daring to be. The wisdom of Socrates is not a historical artifact. It is a living, breathing challenge to every single one of us. The choice between the two paths is yours to make, every single day. Remember the feeling of being in a crowd, the warmth of agreement. It is a powerful pull. The path of conformity will always be the easier option. It promises safety and acceptance. But we have seen that this safety is an illusion, and the acceptance is conditional on you surrendering your own mind. The first step on the other path is to simply acknowledge this truth, to see the cage even while you are still inside it. The power to change is entirely within you. It does not require anyone else's permission. It begins with the next thought you have. When a popular idea is presented to you, you can choose to simply accept it, or you can choose to hold it up to the light of your own reason. Ask a simple question. Is this true? How do I know? This small act, repeated over time, is enough to change the entire course of your life. You are the sole authority on your own life. You are the gardener of your mind, the captain of your soul. This is a tremendous responsibility, but it is also the source of ultimate freedom. To embrace the examined life is to take back the power you have given away to the crowd. It is to decide that you will be the author of your own story, the creator of your own values. Your life, unexamined, is like a magnificent, unplayed instrument. It is capable of creating beautiful, unique music, but it sits in a corner, collecting dust, silent. The popular opinions of the world are like a simple, repetitive song that everyone else is humming. To examine your life is to pick up your instrument and begin the difficult, rewarding process of learning to play your own song, your own unique music. The journey from the lie of the crowd to the truth of the self is the most important journey you will ever take. It is a journey from being a passive object shaped by the world to becoming an active subject who shapes themselves. It's the difference between being a piece of driftwood carried by the river and being the sailor who navigates that river with skill and purpose. You have the map, you have the compass. Look around you today, listen to the conversations, watch the news, notice the pull of popular opinion, feel its current. But do not be afraid of it. See it for what it is, a collection of unexamined thoughts, a river of shadows. You now have the power to stand on the bank, to observe it without being swept away. You can choose when to enter the water and in which direction you will swim. The final profound truth is this: the quality of your life is determined by the quality of your questions. Do not seek easy answers, seek better questions. The crowd offers you answers that feel good. Socrates offers you questions that make you good. The choice between comfort and character is the ultimate choice that defines a human life. It is the dangerous, beautiful choice that now lies before you. This journey is not about finding a final absolute truth. It is about committing to the endless, beautiful process of searching. It is the humility to know you will never have all the answers, but the courage to never stop asking the questions. This is the enduring legacy of Socrates. A legacy that is not a destination, but a path. A path that is open to anyone brave enough to take the first uncertain step.